This one's got a sting. Or maybe it doesn't. I actually have no idea how DC feels about this anymore. The first, I should say, Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I said that title all wrong, but essentially Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, whatever you want to call it, just released today, and it's not looking good. Now, I've been seeing box office projections for weeks now saying that this movie's set to bomb, but I don't really put much stock in projections because you know how much stock I put in projections? Jack shit. Projections don't mean a damn thing, and I have seen some that are way off target. Do I need to mention The Flash, where the early box office projections were estimating maybe somewhere all the way up to $140 million this opening weekend, and it made less than half that? So, we only have the opening day numbers, obviously, but it's already looking really, really bad. $9.2 million in its opening day. Now, if you don't know too much about economics or how box office numbers work, that's really bad. I'm assuming this movie had a budget of at least $200 million, like every blockbuster does. And at $9.2 million on your opening day, especially when you have so much backlash and some stiff competition, actually, that's not good. I don't know how Migration is going to do, but I have a hard time believing it'll do worse than 9.2 in its opening day. Now, if you're going to tell me, oh, a lot of superhero movies are bombing, look at other superhero box office bombs this year. Let's look at the opening day of some other box office bombs. Now, I'm not going to look at ones like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, because that was a financial success. And I'm also not going to look at The Flash, because while that one was also a humongous failure, it did end up making $55 million in its opening weekend, so we're not going to look at that one either. What I want to look at is Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetle, and The Marvels. Now, let's start with The Marvels, because that was the most recent example, where it made roughly $11.7 million in its opening day. Actually, no, Shazam 2 made $11.7 million in its opening day. The Marvels, I already forgot the numbers, even though I just checked it. I want to say it was somewhere in the ballpark of around $14 million, maybe. I put it down here. And then Blue Beetle, which made... And, by the way, Shazam ended up making about $135 million worldwide. Now, the Marvels ended up making about $200 million worldwide. So, we're already off to a bad start. Although, I will say the Marvels had a lot less controversy around it than this movie does. Yes, it has Brie Larson. No one likes Brie Larson. No one likes Ms. Marvel. No one cares about Monica Rambeau. But there wasn't really any controversy around it, unlike the first movie, which ended up breaking in over $1 billion. Because that's back when people still wanted to go to a movie theater and don't just want to sit their lazy asses at home and watch movies there. I honestly prefer going to a theater than watching this shit on streaming or on my phone or some shit. But then we Blue Beetle, which made about $125 million, roughly. I don't remember the exact number, even though I just looked at it. Because honestly, I don't care. Because the point I'm making here is that it was also a huge financial failure, and it made about $10 million its opening day. Yeah, you see a pattern, right? These movies lost hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know exactly how much they lost, because their budgets have been kind of, Warner Brothers has been kind of wishy-washy about how much these movies actually cost to produce. I have a hard time believing Shazam 2 had a budget of $200 million. But it probably had one... Considering the first one had $100 million, I'm assuming it's in the ballpark anywhere between, I want to say, 120 to 150 at the least. So that was still a humongous failure. Blue Beetle was a humongous failure as well. I think the movie cost about $120 million to make, if not higher, and it made about $125 million worldwide, so it wasn't even close to making any semblance of a profit. And considering this one, 9.2, lower than all those other movies, and it has a ton of controversy around it, and probably has a higher budget than both of those other movies. The Marvels, again, Disney's been kind of wishy-washy about that movie's budget as well. Speaks disaster for this movie. Now, I have no sympathy here. Normally sometimes when movies lose money, it's like, oh, that sucks, because it's like, oh, maybe the movie was good and people just didn't go to see it. Or maybe it just didn't look at it, maybe it just had shitty marketing and was actually a good movie, but people didn't want to see it because of, well, the bad marketing. There are times when I can feel sympathy for movies losing money. Not for Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers can absolutely go fuck themselves in all their holes for the shit they've pulled, especially when it came to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp controversy. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past 3 years, you don't know that there was a huge defamation case between Heard and Depp. Depp ended up winning, obviously, yet during the trial, he was ousted of several roles, including Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, which was also produced by Warner Brothers. But they kept Amber Heard around despite millions and millions of people wanting her fired. And that didn't work out too well, did it? Amber Heard has virtually no career anymore. I don't even know if she's doing any press if she's doing any press for this. And Depp has gotten I don't want to say career resurgence just yet, but there are a lot of fans that are kind of moving over to his side now. So, yeah, not to mention, Warner Brothers has just produced, like, nothing but shit the past 3 years, so I have no sympathy for them. I'm glad this movie's failing. And from what I've seen, it's a bad movie. I don't put much stock in critics, but I do find it pretty funny that it's all the way down at 36% in the early reviews. But again, critic reviews don't mean shit. For all I know, this could be the greatest superhero movie of all time. Probably won't be, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I digress. So yeah, that's all I got. What are your thoughts on this movie bombing horribly? And I'll see you all next time. Bye.